All right, welcome back to the Work with Purpose podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this month's episode. So far, we've talked through our career news for this month, but now I want to transition a little bit more to our next topic, kind of a sadder note, more somber note. But I knew in planning this month's episode, I wanted to put this in front of you just from a place of gratitude and respect for professionals in the career services industry who have kind of paved the way for the work that I do today. And so with this segment, I wanted to bring about just a quick celebration of the life of career coach Dan Miller, and also remembering his personal impact on me, but also a little bit more about summary of his work and his life if you've not heard of him before. So celebrating the life of career coach Dan Miller. Now, I wanted to bring this to you because as you're hearing this, he actually, unfortunately, passed away, sadly, earlier this year in the month of January. He was a little bit more advanced in age, but I found out earlier in January that he had passed away from a form of pancreatic cancer, I believe. But I wanted to put his information in front of you, as well as just give you more about who he was and the impact of his life on a podcast episode. So Dan Miller, if you've not heard of him before, he has been, I know he has a background as he had a background as a mental health counselor. He was a man of Christian faith, really involved in his local church. And through his life and his effort and his energy, he started a business and a host of other offshoot things under the name 48 Days. He's most well known for a career development book. I've used it in my own career development journey for a long time, called 48 Days to the Work You Love. It's a book that I've used and I recommend to folks all of the time. But I wanted to talk about his impact on my life and put some of his information in front of you all as a viewer and as a listener in this month's episode. I would say one of the things he taught me that I now teach others in the work that I have the chance to do on this podcast is I really try to work with individuals as they are job searching to really guide them to consider taking a proactive approach, taking initiative in the work that they do as they are job searching. So not just taking the plan of waiting by your phone or waiting by your email inbox for a company to follow up with you after you apply, but really trying to, talk about, hey, what are proactive ways about how you can job search? So in a lot of the work that I do, that looks like talking about individuals making a focused company list. So making, a list of 10 to 15 companies who would hire you based on your career goal. And you work to, populate that list, fill out that list of researching company websites, seeing do they have a job link open, things like that. A lot of those ideas, that proactive happening to things. I got that approach from Dan Miller, and I've seen, I've applied that in my own life, working with individuals in my own job search processes, and I continue to guide other people to encourage them to take that approach today, especially as the workforce today continues to be hyper competitive, continues to, in a sense, ask that of any job seeker today, to take a proactive and, plugged in approach and not just sitting idly by hoping that, opportunities will come to them. So that's just a real quick just overview of the life of Dan Miller. He's done so much more than I can fit into an entire episode, but I do want to let you know, as far as if you want to learn more about Dan Miller, if you look in the video description below this video, if you are watching us on the YouTube version of our show, or if you are visit our website, WWPCast.com, I've put in a couple links for a little bit more about Dan Miller there. I put a link to his Facebook page, as well as a memorial site that I know his family had put together. And I think if you take a look at those, you'll start to see how far-reaching his life and his impact was. I know for the length of his time, coaching others, he even put on live events, training, did tons of resources and materials to help people work as best as they can. And I wanted to put Dan Miller's information and just really celebrate his life in front of you because of the impact he had on me, and I know some of ideas and principles that he would teach others. I kind of see myself with this podcast and the other career resources I do. A goal I have is to really keep that continuation going, because I really do believe that as you're listening to this podcast, as you engage with other materials from me, I really want to hammer home to you that the best work that you can ever do is to help you grow in knowing what your uniquely designed gifts are, knowing what your gifts are, using your gifts to serve others, and to do all that for the glory of Jesus Christ. That's the best work that I believe you can ever do. So, Dan Miller, we miss you. I know from your faith background, you're rejoicing greatly now in the presence of Jesus. But thank you for the impact you've had on my life and the work that I do, helping others make intentional and purposeful and wise career decisions. So again, that's celebrating the life of Dan Miller. You can look more about his resources in the show notes here. So after the break, we're going to wrap up this month's episode. So stick around. We got a little bit more to come on the Work with Purpose podcast. We'll be right back.